Yeah, I definitely think he can. Like, I think Inferno is one of the maps where I've seen some of the craziest kills ever come out from him. I still remember him shooting through the church glass and just absolutely wrecking someone. He is a bit of a beast. The thing is, though, it can be a map that's very hard to get that AWP going, especially on the T side. But luckily for him, they're going to be starting out on the CT side, and already we've spoken about aggression in this team, the way they've been taking the fight to the opposition. However, it could come back to bite them a little bit. Lau will actually be able to find that opening pick, and Oscar with a double of his own is going to kick things off wonderfully. And now we see Lau actually managing to have the bomb at his feet. MSL going to come back to get him, but he's met by multiple CT players. And HellRaisers with a hugely aggressive CT pistol, but also a massively successful one.
And one player, obviously, as we heard the desk talking about it before, is Lau. We saw the video with him, you know, how he learned English to play in more of these bigger teams.
That always impresses me when a player can do that while also playing at high levels.
I've lived in Germany 7 years, and my German is still scheiße. So, anyways, but Lau, like, the fact is, I feel like him and Refresh are really similar, and what we've seen is that they are players you can depend on to get, like, 2 kills, to get 3 kills, like, to hold these positions and be able to come up big for you. Lau, in particular, his spray transfers over the course of day 1 and day 2 have been phenomenal, and we're going to see if he can continue this pace. I want to see MSL, though, on the CT side of OpTic, because when we saw them playing up against Fnatic, he liked to get really aggressive with the AWP, but he also liked to put himself in positions where it's like a one-and-done spot, peeking out towards middle, and there was no chance for a retreat, kind of ignoring Boiler a couple times, trying to peek in mid. He had some good moments, but he also had some lackluster moments. And when he had the good moments, OpTic were winning rounds. I want to see if he's going to kind of keep some composure today and play a little bit safer, because we know what Oscar can do.
Yeah, he seemed to be the sort of pinnacle of their CT side. Like, when he was getting the opening pick, it seemed like OpTic had that CT round down. When he fell, it seemed like they sort of fell back a little bit and relied on a clutch play. Either way, we're going to see the smokes thrown in. The investment actually into this T-side second round, not something you see too often out from teams at the moment. They normally save for the AKs, but they've gone for that same sort of smoke setup that we actually saw coming out from Fnatic, but they don't have themselves the Molotovs to put onto the side. This was something that Chad actually went through, but it seems to be going quite successful. Nico's just walked in, got himself 2 kills with the USP. He is then put down by his in-game leader, who clearly wanted some of his own, but this has gone completely wrong for HellRaisers. This was only some pistols. As I said, these second round buys is not something you really witness anymore on the T side at least. But that smoke set up over to the pit, isolating players from that angle, and then just Nico pushing out and getting 2 headshots onto the site is enough for OpTic to steal this round away.
Well, you talked about the P250s yesterday,
yeah,
and we're seeing it in action yet again today. Nico, just the random smoke push, catching him off guard. I think he actually came in from short, but to, again, uncharacteristically just make a move, make a play happen, and just like that, he does, and nets them a big round here. They did invest quite a bit with the pistols and obviously the armor, but they're going to come out with 2 AUGs. That's like the best out of the situation they could possibly ask for.
Yeah, and they should have everybody surviving as well at the end of the round. So 4 players making money, getting that early force buy back, not allowing the CT side to make up any cash. And I personally think that in terms of utility, this is the most important map in the game to have the incendiaries and even the HEs. Like, when you look at the banana control, that's always going to be a big issue, is just having those grenades to throw down. And I've said it before again, that you can sort of see a player on that B site having 300, maybe even 400 grenade damage just by constantly whittling away at players. And throughout the last couple of days when it has been played, that's what we've witnessed as well.
Yeah, especially out of OpTic. They were so good at their nade usage yesterday too. I just wonder if they're going to be able to carry things over into the CT side, because they did seem to struggle at some points. But MSL seems to be getting, I want to say, like, better and better with the team. He's definitely like a standout player with them. Obviously in-game leading, opping, and putting up big numbers is very difficult to do, but he seems to be able to do it time and time again. And if not, you always have Refresh there, you always have Config there to help out. And even Snappy, he had so many great moments on Nuke, thinking back to their matchup on day 1, hiding behind that box at ramp. He was able to mow down 2-3 players. He had so many clutch moments yesterday on top of things. We're going to see, obviously, a little bit of a tech pause here as they're just trying to sort some things out. But this is a big moment for both these two teams. Again, it's just one match. Yesterday reset the whole group for us. You win 2, you're through. You lose 2, you're out. And I think it's a big win for both these two teams, because that looming threat of what's happening with Luminosity buying out Infinite, if they're actually going to take OpTic's CS team and keep them, or maybe drop them and take Luminosity's team over, that's always a question that they have to have in the back of their minds. And for HellRaisers, just to kind of reiterate for Angel, he was there last season, and now he's got some new players on his team. This would be a very good moment for him to be able to take like a newer roster together of 5 and get them through into a major event like this.
Well, I think that's always been one of the things that HellRaisers has actually been very good at, is just rebuilding their team once it's stolen by other organizations. Like, Mousesports are one that do like to pick apart these teams and make their all-star rosters. FaZe as well have done similar things to other teams in the past, and it is the rebuild. And I do think that HellRaisers are one of the best in the business at finding the talent that is available or that they have the finances to purchase, and then making another team. And it's also a team that, although it's sort of sad to say, they're good at sort of rising up some of these star players. Now, in this case at least, they found some players that have already had previous success. Oscar, for sure, is the name that I highlight when we come to this team.
Thing is, for HellRaisers, it has to be frustrating then to be like a feeder team at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Having players stolen away. You know, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Never one of those teams that's maintaining like a top 5 position in the world. But like I said, they do such a great job of bringing up talent and such a great job of taking whatever resources they do have and putting together a competent team who can compete against some of the best here. But now we're going to have our 3rd round kickoff here of our first map. Looks like OpTic do have a 3-man push towards Banana. In the meantime, 2 players over towards A. Config, who, thinking back to his Dust 2 performance on day 1, was outstanding.
Yeah, I think definitely one of the maps that benefits him a little bit more. And Inferno, I wouldn't say so much. Like, maybe he's able to help them out quite a bit on the T side, but he's much more of the rotational player when it comes to Inferno, like playing around the arch side. And when they played against Fnatic, he was getting wrecked. Like, he was getting ruined almost every single round that they pushed around that arch side. He was getting headshotted. So I want to see if there's going to be some sort of change there, if they'll maybe try and fix the holes that were in the defense. But either way, for now, they've got the wrap around. Oscar just spamming through the smoke is going to be able to pick off MSL, and they're looking to try and get the player in the pit, but it seems like there's a possibility for HellRaisers to actually bounce back themselves. They haven't cleared lull, but as I say, it refresh will do just that. Now they at least have control of the site.
It's a good start. They do rescue a gun for Nuki. Angel looking to push up the CZ. They do have a kid as well, so there is a chance that we could see HellRaisers actually pick up this round when they come down to Angel, taking down Refresh, and he does. They now have control here of apartments, a player in pit, a player on site. Config's going to have to be able to take down Angel here to help alleviate the pressure coming from short. Just get a good amount of damage done. Oscar as well, taken very low, but the push is still coming through. Config's able to take down Oscar, but Nuki gets the man on site, and the second as well. And Oscar's big kill with the Deagle over on Arch opens up the gun for Nuki to help take the round. And well done here by HellRaisers after losing the 2nd round after they won the pistol to come back.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. It is a lot of the time harder for the CTs to have those bounce back rounds just because, like you said, like they had a kit. That's actually quite surprising in itself, just with the amount of money they had. To put that extra $400 into having a kit is actually really important for the team. So
actually, was that saved from the last round before?
It's possible.
Because there was one player who stayed alive. I didn't actually catch if they had a kit.
Yeah, I couldn't say. I'm sure somebody will be there to go back and check, and they can
and then harass us for not knowing.
Angrily tweet us.
Let's
That's
post
fine.
on some Reddit
I don't
thread.
mind. It's all learning.
We're now into round 4 with HellRaisers back in the lead, and with the weaponry on their side, the Augs completely lit up across the team. We've seen OpTic do more with less, though, as Angel's able to escape. But a nice little initial pick. You know, so I think, yeah, it did get the bomb down, so they know in the general direction it's going to be. I wonder when we get onto Mirage, actually, if Angel's going to continue to play that like really aggressive style in middle. Because
every map I've cast of him recently, he has.
I would assume at one point, like, teams are going to catch on. And sometimes they do in the middle of the map. It just takes a couple of rounds.
But then it's just whether or not, because you don't, like I said it the other day, you don't want to counter one player. Like, if he just starts doing this and then stops, and you're still sat at the top of mid for the first minute of the round because you're going, well, Angel's going to be around this corner, so I'm going to be
push
careful.
eventually.
So, yeah, it can get in your head, even if he stops doing it. Nuke goes down, Lau lines them up and almost gets himself 3, but more importantly, manages to stay alive in the back corner, just throwing out nades. He's bought time for the rotation to come in. Angel is just lurking around the back of the smoke, and he's still alive, yet to be killed off. His teammates are coming and even gets the final kill. A superb hold coming out from the Spaniard, and that'll be the B site locked down.
Like I said, this guy is always good for like 2 kills. He gets the perfect spray transfers, the perfect spray downs, and as you pointed out, staying alive at the back of that too, making sure they can't get the bomb down easily in sight for the extra money, and allowing those rotates to come through. Lau has just really impressed me, I gotta say, over these 3 days. Phenomenal player.
shots. Just great positioning. I think that's what you have to put it down to. Like, obviously he hits his shots, but we expect that from the best. But just to stay alive is important, and
Speaking of staying alive.
Yeah. The unlucky Duckling. He's going to take up the brunt of the nade damage. Then again, the rest of his team have all been wrecked. Oscar padding his stats, 4 kills for him. Making extra money, which although it's not a huge amount, when he wants to buy an AWP later in the game, that could make a bit of a difference. He still has $5,900. And that's a pretty good start for HellRaisers, especially considering they lost that second round. To then break back straight away and start building up money off some relatively clean rounds is exactly what you want on that CT side.
I'm still getting a little scared, though, thinking back to the OpTic versus Aristocracy game yesterday, being up 9-0 on Mirage, and then the game coming down to being that close to the end of things.
We've seen a few games now.
So many of them.
10-1 or something ridiculous, 7-0s.
11-4 halves.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to see OpTic back on the buy here, and Snappy's going to run directly into a trap, or was it his trap to spring? He's going to get a 1-for-1 trade in the end, but still doing some decent damage in a situation that there was maybe no chance to get a kill.
Yeah,
but look at this. They've actually got the entire site of A. Big stack towards B.
Yes. 3 players initially and only the apartments play, so the wrap around onto short set things up nicely, but for HellRaisers, Oscar getting those 2 kills is vital because he's now given them a man advantage in the retake. There is only an HE left onto Config. Everyone else has no utility available for them.
Config's pushing. He's getting around behind them. There's going to be Oscar watching. Oscar's get the better of that duel too, so Oscar's now taking 3 down for the retake here. Nico trying to hold from pit, and Angel trying to look for the shot.
Leaves it all onto MSL, and there's nothing he can do. Oscar
What
was
is with Oscar
back-to-back
today?
4Ks. Granted, the first one was against Pistols, but you can't take anything away from him there. Without his impact, there's no chance the HellRaisers end up winning that round, and, well, fantastic work from him, and that's scary.
Yeah.
Because Chad spoke beforehand about players on OpTic who can take over the game being Config. The player on HellRaisers, I think no one can deny, is Oscar. If he has a good game, he can rule the server.
And this is just him using the AUG at the moment. He's not even picked up the AWP. I wonder if he's even going to bother at this rate, considering how well he's been able to start things off. He's got 9,200 money, 11 frags for him. He's got almost more than this entire team combined. And we need to see 170 ADR, by the way. We need to see some sort of response to this. And Config, is it going to come down to him? Is it going to come down to Refresh? Snappy? Is someone going to be able to step up? Nico, who we've praised, I'd say, even yesterday, about how he's not necessarily getting these like flashy kills or these like amazing shots, but he's consistently putting up good numbers. And he always seems to be that like #2 on the team in terms of kills. Maybe he can have a breakout performance here, but the fact is something's going to need to change here for OpTic because they're not really doing much damage here to the side of HellRaisers.
Well, Snappy's going to be the one to try and make a play, but both players have completely missed themselves within the smoke. It's the same smoke setup they used with the Pistols last time, but this time they baited a full rotation. They left Angel there alone. Nuki has pushed off the site, and this time the T's will definitely be getting a bomb plant.
But Oscar's still alive. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to point that out right now. Maybe I'll you know, jinx it again. But he's still there. Let me see, the utility going to be pretty much out now for OpTic. So 3 smoke had come through, so it buys a little bit of extra time, but they can push in towards construction. You see the spam coming through out of multiple players, trying to hit a shot, trying to get some early damage done. Refresh playing up close. He's got a little bit of a crossfire with his player towards Banana. That's going to be Nico. And again, Oscar gets one. Refresh maybe wants to push out here, look for some damage. Actually gets shot in the back and doesn't even have a chance to do much of anything. And now it's going to be Nico by himself towards Banana up against 4 players. And no chance. And again, Oscar picks up 1. Issa picks up 2. And they do take another round here.
That was actually quite impressive from the CT side because they went into that retake with 3 flashbangs. And they come out with all of their players surviving. So props to them for just everybody managing to find a frag as they get back into the site. At the same time, for what OpTic were looking to achieve, they managed to completely bait a rotation out from the CT side and get a bomb plant.
Thing is that OpTic are doing a good job of actually getting the bomb down consistently. Yeah. They've gone it down, I want to say, in a majority of the rounds, minus like the eco round with pistols. So they're getting there. They're getting to that point. But they're expending a lot of utility, or they don't have a lot of utility in the beginning of the round, so they can't maintain it after that. They had no flashes, no smokes to defend the last 15, 20 seconds of that bomb.
Was a half buy. It is worth mentioning. So they didn't have everything available to them anyway. So a bomb plant really isn't too bad. But no, I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like, they haven't been able to hold on to a lot of the retakes. And a lot of that has been off individual prowess. It hasn't been like the craziest retakes in the world from HellRaisers with like incendiaries to spare and clearing angles effectively. It's purely been based off, well, Oscar in one of the rounds and then the whole team just popping heads as they walk back into the site.
Well, it seems like OpTic have looked to set up a push in towards B. 3 smokes, 5 flashes. They still have refresh. Sorry, it's actually Snappy lurking over towards A this time. He's just seen refresh in this position. And it's going to come down to Oscar to be on that quick rotate back. Actually, with the flashes and smokes coming in, the rotate's going to come out of Lowell. And what can they do on this defense? Angel playing up close here with the smoke. They catch on Config, looking for more. He gets a second as well. Nico's finally going to turn, but now Nuke is going to try to hold on to buy some time here for some reinforcements as the smokes have gone down towards CT. The flashbang coming in from his teammate is good. Nuke does get the bomb down. And the damage being done with the flames is good onto the side of OpTic as well. And Nuke's still alive. Again, somehow HellRaisers have done such a great job, whether it was refresh, whether it's now Nuke, just to get a kill or two and to not die in that site, to not allow them to just push up, get the bomb down, and get control.
Yeah, I don't know who threw the incendiary through the smoke from the CT side, but that pretty much ended the round because that just put OpTic into a pure panic state, and it gave Nuki a little bit of time as well just to get back into the corner and do damage with the USP. So actually in this scenario, that was just strong utility usage coming out from the CT side. And again, like, I think the use of the smoke just up close, that Angel should be getting kills there just because if the opponent has to run through a smoke, they're already in so much trouble. So good work utility usage in that round from HellRaisers. 7-1 up on the CT side and starting to get a little bit scary because although like we do look to players like Config and a lot of maps like Dust 2 Mirage, I expect him to be right at the top of the scoreboard and popping heads. This is a much more closed off, tight angle map. I think this is one he struggles on a lot more than people may realize because at the moment, we haven't really seen anything from him.
Well, let's be honest, we haven't really seen much on the side of OpTic. I mean, Refresh had 1. I think Snappy, yeah, currently at 2. Angel looking to push a nice little flash through. Angel's going to get around the corner. Going to have 2 players, but he can't tank down a single one. As Nico will get a nice little entry here. The aggression seems like Angel. Sounds like him, just to randomly do that when they already had decent control of Banana, trying to catch OpTic off guard. But now playing at a man disadvantage. They're going to be committing to 3 players over towards the A site. And with Nuki playing a position that he can escape from as well, he can rotate back towards A if he needs, and get the information that B is going to be taken if they go that route. But again, utility. This time HellRaisers is running a little bit low. 2 incendiaries, 1 smoke. You got a lot of offensive nades to do some damage.
This position from Nuki, like it's good if they go towards A. If they go towards B, then he doesn't really have any control of the site whatsoever, so they just have to give it up. But those few smokes, again, we talk about the utility usage from both teams, but OpTic have pulled a player away, but only for a second. Oscar's going to rotate back in, hits the timing, hits the shot as well. This man has been so clinical thus far in the game. MSL trying to make his way forward. They've only got 15 seconds. They really need to get moving. The late incendiary has just made things so difficult, and the bomb's on the floor. They have to go right now, and that is it. The round is already over. The time is ticking. Nuki just has to run away, and I don't think there's anything they can do to save this round. Another one on the board. Config actually does get a couple of openers there, but I think they just leave it that little bit too late.
If Oscar didn't get that kill, though, if someone's watching towards Library, that could have been a different story. If Config maybe pushed a little bit quicker, maybe hoping for his teammates to survive longer. I don't think that was necessarily his fault in terms of pushing speed. It was more he was waiting for that bomb to get put down to really flank and catch him off guard.
I think the problem was more the late utility that the CT side had. So there was
Molotov in apartments.
Yeah, incendiary right towards the last 20 seconds. And then you had like flashbangs. You also had MSL walking alone on the, so the idea was to pincer in. So you had the sort of apps play helping MSL to get the bomb down. Instead, MSL just had to walk up short. And like, if there's a player in pit, you're dead. You basically have to hope that he hits a crazy shot, and there's just too much at stake there.
And OpTic used their smoke. I think they had like 2 smokes left. They used one of them to fake a B push. Yeah. So they didn't have the ability to smoke off or Molotov off pit to allow MSL to push up. So kind of unfortunate for them.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're going to go into a little bit of a half buy here. maybe have that full utility into the next round. 8-1 though. HellRaisers are really on a good pace here to take this first map in a very quick fashion. And now we have the OpTic coming in for Oscar. He finally dies. He says, it's time for my AUG to retire. Maybe he should go back to it, though. No, he's going to miss a couple of shots here, though, obviously. But you still have to really be afraid of what this man can do. If you missed out the game yesterday, watch him. Watch how aggressive he was up against Fnatic.
Yeah, wall bangs, clutches. It really was just the Oscar show. Like, that's what it came down to yesterday. And it is an absolute joy to watch. He's going to be waiting on the angle. Takes the second peek. Knows he's got a teammate there. Lau almost gets a second, but luckily Issa is there to help out with the cleanup. And Config, actually a little bit late to the party. He's the one with the AK. Does manage to connect onto Issa. At least makes things a little bit interesting, but still has a 1v3 to deal with. Can at least retrieve some control, but Nuki peeks at the perfect time to close him out. Another on the board, things slipping away. I wonder if we're going to have to see another pause come in soon. Because they've got the loss bonus built up. I believe Sponge said on the desk that we still have the stacking currently.
Yeah.
So that means they're just getting a ridiculous amount of money every single round, no matter what happens. But we only talk really about the stacking when they start winning rounds and then lose. They're not winning any, so they would always have it anyway.
So this was interesting to me, actually, the way they held short. Because they had, that was Lowell and Oscar holding it, Lowell tucked away. And you had Oscar looking for the shot. And then actually, once Oscar took that first shot, what he did was he backed away and traded positions with Issa. So Issa was watching short now, and he was watching towards apartments. So they didn't really expect there to be another player with an M4, if anything, an op, which you can trade one for, and then eventually pick him up. So it's a nice little change up there. And again, Oscar just doing Oscar things.
Yeah, he sort of baited you a little bit by missing the first two in the last round, and was just like, okay, Jason, I'm going to start picking it up now.
I'm just hoping to not jinx anyone today.
I don't know, I quite enjoyed that. Back to B.
That was so tilting yesterday.
Smoke going to go down. They're going to try and push through it once again, but a little bit quicker. Angel wasn't able to get up close, and now Nuki, he's on that survival effort once again with 3 players barreling down. This time, he will not be able to hold on to the site. And although the CT side don't particularly need to save their weapons based off finances, I wonder if they might just, based off the fact that a retake on B site, a 4v3, even with the amount of utility they have, this is nigh on impossible.
And considering OpTic, did like a half buy the round before, this time they had full utility to push in towards B.
Do you like the 9-1 scoreline? Like, is it going to happen again?
This is where
10-5, yeah?
This is where it all began here for most of our games. The 9-0 scoreline that turned into 9-1, and then eventually 10-2, and then either 11-4 or 10-5 half. It's just the bane of us casting together. We just get these ridiculously close games. Oh. Well, that's someone just died. So that was whoever was tucked away in that corner on long is well, now dead. But OpTic get the round more importantly, and I think that's a good sign for them now. But the thing is, getting one is good, but only one more is not going to be good enough. You hear them talking about flashing each other in. 9-2 now. Oscar again on the op, which is kind of a shame considering HellRaisers had the opener. They got the first frag out of Oscar with AWP. But that B push was a little bit too strong out of OpTic. And Angel not being able to get at least one before he died was unfortunate for HellRaisers.
Oh, once again, we're going to see the aggression of Angel. They're definitely starting to know that this is coming. Him trying to push down Banana. There's so many bullets going through the smoke. He does actually survive, which I'm surprised by, but you have to remember how much utility they still have. They have an incendiary if they really wanted to. They're not going to use it, though, and somehow Angel still gets a kill, but a 2-for-2 trade really doesn't benefit that CT side too much. Nico going to go pushing
That's
loud.
The bomb! He's by himself with the bomb!
Yeah, I don't think he knew he had that. I'm almost certain he didn't know he had that.
And the other two players were nowhere near to help him anyways, even if they made the push happen towards B. He was hoping that maybe there was no one left there.
Does he know it's there? Because
no
one's moved.
Well,
like,
I don't think he's going to try to hold that angle by himself with the bomb.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't think he would hold it, but if he knew it was there, surely everyone else would at least try and help.
I think it's retrievable, though, for OpTic. Especially with the smokes they have and the flashes. And with that smoke being put there, there's no guarantee. Well, was backed extremely far away. And OpTic with Snappy and Refresh left alive have 30 seconds to make a decision. And they might be making the right one here. There's only going to be Lao there, and if they can smoke him off, they're looking at a plant and looking at the after plant situation.
think HellRaisers, they've been quite confident in their retakes over the last few rounds, so you can see why he's decided to back off, wait for his teammates to rotate in. Oscar will come up with the AWP, and they're still going to have some pretty good spots. Looking around, Oscar just going for the smoke shot. Refresh currently 1-9. We'll see if he can change that within this round. He can now look to be the turret that Alex suggested. Sit back in the corner of the site, just waiting for anybody to round that corner. Lots of grenades being thrown in. The incendiary, I think that was meant to go over to Banana, so slightly missed, and now Lau is going to be taken down. Issa looks for the peek in and will trade quickly and leaves it all on to Snappy. The 1v1 incurs, and Oscar just going for that defusal, sticking it all the way down. He doesn't know about it. Oscar just sticks the bomb all the way through. Oh my god. How confident is he going to be right now? I bet you his facial expression is just flat.
The exact same as it always is. That's going to be the face he's going to make when he has a kid. You know, it's like, oh, here, Oscar, here's your son or daughter. And just the same face.
Oscar, you won the lottery. Sweet. Cool.
Oscar, the tumor was benign.
Don't go that far. Just make it bleak.
Well, HellRaisers put things back at 10-2. It seems to be a repeating story over the course of this week on the Pro League. We'll see if they can do what other teams struggled with. Being able to keep this up and potentially look at a 13-2 scoreline. I don't know if OpTic can come back from a 13-2. I mean, they have to have a strong start, obviously. I think Refresh is going to have to wake up a little bit. I'm not trying to like ping him out in particular. It's just they've been struggling on the T side. His CT side was definitely better when we saw them the other day.
The open shot connects. Angel still in an aggressive position. They've got 3 players over onto this B side. The problem is they're trying to help Angel actually escape this corner. I don't think he wants to escape. He's looking to try and take more aggressive plays, and Lau actually comes to join him. They completely shut down this Banana control. They have control of the bomb as well. The T's are just in peril at the moment. And it's interesting because they took a fairly risky time to go for the double orb setup. They spent a lot of their money up getting it into this round. But it doesn't seem to be... it doesn't matter to them at all.
I just had I don't know why, I pictured that Matt Damon movie called Mars, where he's left alone on the planet while the rest of his team took off. It was kind of rescuing Angel from this position, trying to calculate NASA of how they can get them and take them home safely. The HellRaisers will take the round, 11 up for them. And they've come to play today. And the thing is, like, obviously we like all the teams here and we want to see close matches, but HellRaisers are really showing that they deserve to be in the finals.
Yeah, they really are at the moment, especially on Inferno, just dominating, absolutely dominating this CT side. You can see why there's going to be another tactical called.
And this is OpTic's choice. This is their map pick. Next map's Mirage. If we go to a third map somehow, it would be an Overpass, where HellRaisers have done some serious work.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that they picked Mirage over Overpass, but I am guessing it's just what they feel confident on. Like, even if the games have been closer, if that's the map that they feel like they can perform best at, or maybe in this matchup they feel that they can perform best at, because that's what you got to bear in mind. You know for a fact that both of these teams have taken the time to go through the demos, 2 coaches that have been around for quite a while within their respective scenes. So I think that there's going to have been a lot of research, a lot of planning going into this, because as we've sort of mentioned before, this is all about this game, and Issa, Oscar as well, both finding opening picks. Oscar will go down, be traded out, but Issa is actually going to be pushed. They're going to try and force him out. MSL has the bomb. That's going to be dropped onto short. Snappy going to go for the retrieve, but he's been spotted as well. Thankfully for OpTic, he's going to be able to put down 1. But even still, all the information's there for the T side to push out. Snappy not expecting anybody to be in that corner. Now Config, someone we've mentioned throughout this match, needs to come up big. Give them a clutch. Give them something to fight behind as well. We've spoken about the 13-2. They really don't want that coming up. He has spotted Angel, but the information has gone the other way. Now, he could just take the bomb and try and reposition. He's still got a minute.
All the time in the world to work with, but unfortunately not the teammates left alive to work with. It seems like he's going for a little bit of fake. Angel, I think, realizes the bomb is no longer here because they know MSL dropped it from earlier on. Low will get caught looking the wrong direction. Luckily for him, Config misses the shot. I don't see him with that smoke really getting out to safety here as Angel's waiting and lurking over towards short. 12-2 now as HellRaisers is looking for that massive lead that they already have to take it even further into the second half. I wonder, in that last round for OpTic, was that a rush that was forced out of Issa and Oscar hitting these opening 2 frags, or was that the plan the whole time to actually just rush in towards A and pick up the pace?
I think the first move was just taking some mid control, but then when you see that them trying to sort of isolate Issa, that's when everything went wrong, because MSL really wanted that kill and actually ends up leaving the bomb in a position where it's notable. This time, though, it's definitely a rush. They're going straight in towards this B side. Angel is already going to manage to spray down 2 again. They've sent 3 players here early on, and they weren't able to crack this before. It doesn't look like OpTic are going to do it this time either. They have at least managed to trade things back, or I say that at least Config has. But they still may not know that LoL is within the site. He hasn't got a kill in this round. Oscar's now waiting at the bottom of Banana, so he's kept them into this chokehold. He is 17-4 at the moment, and 18-4 at the moment. Config's now going to have to get the ace. He is expecting somebody at least to be within this site, but with so many angles left to check, there's also a man waiting in towards CT spawn for if he wants to cross, and he doesn't have a smoke for that angle. So instead, just going to look to try and fight back. Oscar, you would not expect him to be this close. Surely. Not with an AWP.
So Oscar ends things up at 19 frags for himself, and HellRaisers end things with a 13-2 scoreline on the first half Inferno from CT side. And obviously now as they swap over to T side, they're going to see if they can continue and close this first map out in a very quick fashion, and we'll find out here after the break.
Dancing on my own when you spill that ramen coke on my t-shirt. Yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette that hits first sight. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby, you make me feel something. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. You give me that high pitch feel, baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby.
And now OpTic with their backs against the walls here on Inferno against HellRaisers. Look at a 2-13 scoreline at the end of the first half. But luckily for them here, Tom, they get to swap to that CT side, and we get to see them hopefully step up and put on a good match here. We want to see a close one because the winner of this match will go through into the finals. And bear with me, Montpellier. Montpellier?
Yeah,
My French is terrible. I can say one phrase in French, and it's not appropriate for air.
Is it from a song?
No.
Oh, okay. That's not the phrase I'm thinking of then. Well, again, we're going to see the same sort of aggression that we saw in the first pistol round. Issa waiting for it, but will receive a headshot instead from MSL. Looking to try and recreate what HellRaisers managed to achieve, but Laul has already put a bit of a spanner in the works. Nice shot from Snappy, though. Picks off 2 heads. Looking for another. Angel going to try and help out, but he's so low on HP and has control of the bomb. Nuki, however, has managed to get 1 kill, and Angel gets another. He may be low, but he's not out. And this could give them a free roam on towards the B site. Instead, though, they're going to push towards Config. He's waiting down the bottom of Banana into the ramp, and if he can find either of these kills, he'll make things so much more difficult. Gets the headshot onto the first. Nuki knows he needs to trade this back. He's going to go chasing, but Config has already made it round the corner and into the short position. Not going to expect him here, but he misses the shots.
If he catches Nico here, okay, so he's actually going to go straight back into the A site. Doesn't know where the second player is going to be. He's got 40 seconds, and he obviously wants to go for the plan here, but you see OpTic play for the retake. Kit in the hands of Nico. And watch this. We've seen Nuki win these.
You're an awful person. Nuki left into the 1 versus 2. Now, Config is going to be looking to round that corner. He makes his way up into the graveyard, gives him a good elevated angle, and protects him slightly from that long position, but it looks like they're going to hit the timing at the same time, and Nico pops the head, gives the pistol over, and Jason's very happy that he managed to jink that one intentionally.
This is the worst superpower in the world to have. I guess, besides being tall. If you were a superhero, what would your name be?
The Business.
And what's your superpower?
I didn't think that far ahead.
I think I would be called Nose Man. Just because I have a giant nose.
No, really? Is that the reason?
Well, I think it's when you see him on camera, I never turn to my sides. You never actually see the full width of it because I'm not allowed to turn to my side because I'll knock over the camera.
Well, I've heard that Mitch is so small that he's able to go skiing on it.
Yep. That is on his skinny jeans that he really should have paid more for because I'm amazed at how those things haven't busted wide open.
Oh, Issa catches MSL with a grenade in hand, but isn't going to be able to capitalize off of it. Not much invested into this round for HellRaisers. They've got such a buffer that they don't need to be taking any sort of... It's going to happen again! That's the second time! Every time MSL takes out a nade, Issa peeks. Again, though, no punish. Snappy in the corner as well. Hard position to clear, especially when you don't have any Kevlar behind you. You need a bit of a fluky shot, or just to overwhelm him, but he does have support from Refresh. Yet to really join the server properly just yet. Especially how good he was yesterday. I think that's the thing that's a bit worrying for them, is he was one of the best players for them over the last couple of days, and on Inferno it seems like he hasn't yet turned up.
I don't think he's really been given much of an opportunity to, unfortunately. When we saw him on Inferno last time, he was on the CT side, he was doing a really good job at defending that B site and staying alive. And so Flashbang allows Snappy to pick up that kill. Push going to come through. It should be a relatively easy round here for OpTic. Issa and Lau are the last 2 left alive, and they're going to be flanked in from CT spawn, and that will do it. OpTic will take another round on the board. And now we get to see if they can continue this pace.
Yeah, the buy will finally be coming in. They had a bit of extra spare money, so I wonder if there'll be an AWP or something of the sort coming up. Probably not, but just have to watch what the buy will have. And no, it's just going to be the rifles, but they do have plenty of utility. And this is the thing, like, with this early buy that comes up, you look at the buy on the other side, you've got 3 SMGs and a FAMAS. Now, a hell of a lot of utility, which is great, but look at the scoreline. Even if it is just that 1 round and then, okay, there's a little bit of a save for the OpTic side, they've lost the map like they haven't given themselves enough space to have these sort of riskier buys. I am quite surprised that in the last round we didn't just see them invest fully into rifles, but it really does show how sort of integral utility is that OpTic are willing to pretty much sacrifice every single player having a weapon. The only man who's actually got one was the person who died in the last round. So
I think I can hear Banks smiling. I'm not sure how you can hear someone smile. But we do have the MP5 in there on a Nico.
for now.
I don't want to say anything bad, like he's going to die with it without getting a kill, because watch him pull off an ace or something, you know? Now in my luck. But we're seeing HellRaisers now. It's still a lot of utility to use, looking to capitalize off the push in towards A. Nice nade comes through onto Issa, takes a brunt of damage. Down to 46. HellRaisers still have tons of time left, so there is the opportunity to rotate back towards B, but Angel's looking for the opener. He's got MSL off to the side. And MSL actually changes position at a perfect time, a perfect moment. However, Angel able to get the better of him with the AK. And now the flank around on site is going to be dangerous here. This is going to be tough for OpTic to hold. As Config's looking for something, some sort of information, and the only info he's going to get is a bullet to the brain.
Oh, you wanted to see an ace from Nico. I think that's what he's going to need to save them in this scenario. And that nade just ducks onto him, sprays away, and not a single bullet connects. He has just been ruined by Angel, who's just opened up this site. The remaining players, they've got no choice. It just has to be a save from OpTic. The money not really there for them. Nico and MSL will have enough that they can at least buy into the next round, and Config may be able to be dropped something or get an SMG or a FAMAS. But either way, it is sort of that scenario at the moment on the CT side where you win the pistol, you win the second round, the third they buy up, you're going to have a weaker buy most of the time, maybe more utility. And then the next round when you buy again, you're still probably going to have a weaker buy because you're now struggling. It really comes down to being able to win rounds with utility and SMGs, and that is a tough task.
I am a little nervous, though, that they all ditched the site. I don't know, I'm just getting flashbacks to ZipX. Either way, 14 now for the HellRaiser side on the map choice of OpTic. When we think back to OpTic's match yesterday versus Aristocracy, they were up 10-2, technically 9-0 at one point. And you heard Sponge say earlier on about letting their foot off the gas, potentially costing them the map. Well, they're going to need to find that gas pedal again, and they're going to need to slam it down hard, because being down 10 rounds, yeah, a rock, a boulder, my nose, either one, all are equally heavy. You have to wonder, I probably have like the strongest neck muscles in the world to hold up this head because of the nose. It really puts you off balance. But HellRaisers with 10 rounds that they could give technically have so much time and so much freedom to change things up if they need, if something's not working. I know that OpTic can be a little bit light on the bike, see the FAMAS, the ump. Still a lot of utility left though for OpTic, able to maintain a majority of it through this round. And with a 4-man stack towards A, you can imagine why. It's a big gamble.
It's important that Snappy has a lot of it as well, if they do look to go in his direction. Already tempted to throw out that deep smoke. Especially with a deep smoke, I think it gives you more of an inkling that maybe there's a couple of players there. He's actually just going to throw it back instead. Burn out some more time. About 30 seconds left on the clock by the time they would actually be able to push. The only problem is if they manage to get through MSL. Now, Angel's already very low. Issa goes down as well, MSL with an important double. And now this two-pronged attack just turns into a single knife, as it is going to be the tease coming right through Banana. The Incendiary goes down as well to try and buy them a little bit of time. MSL now rotates in. He's only got 10 HP, however, so won't be a whole lot of use. Luckily, Snappy seems to lock this down on his own. Another double for him. Oscar left to try and save things. He will clear the site, but by that point, the full rotation's in, and Nico will kill him through the smoke. A nice hold from the CT side. A bit of a gamble thrown in, but I think just the utility usage and the hold out from both MSL and Snappy was massively important.
Yeah, Snappy won the round for him. The Molotov coming in, bought time for MSL to rotate. Bought him time for that backup, and again, very difficult to do considering the situation he was in, being alone at B. You saw him at like 50 seconds for like a good 10 seconds holding on to that smoke, realizing, should I go for the deep smoke? Should I throw it down now? Should I wait a little bit longer? And in the end of things, helps get the round now for OpTic on the board. But again, HellRaisers back to buying up, and still a lot of utility on their side. Almost perfect here. And OpTic going to go for the early 3-man push towards Banana just to get that early control Well, HellRaisers go back to that kind of passive style. Trying to feel out where OpTic are, and more importantly, bait out a lot of this utility.
Where this is the problem already of the loss bonus stacking up, is that the more rounds OpTic actually win, the more buy rounds they're going to come up against. So it's not going to get any easier. It'll be a sort of on-off round every single time. Spray coming through the smoke. MSL getting isolated and damaged. And yet to really take too much control. You can see the patience of the T's. I'm liking the fact that they aren't getting too overzealous. Like, considering how far in front they are, it's very easy for them to just try and brute force rounds and individually win them.
But you have to keep in mind, the back of your head, like, what's on the line here.
Yeah, for sure. Nuki, oh, he checks the angle, but Refresh manages to win the duel anyway. Snappy's actually peeking out to help, and an important kill to make sure that he's going to be able to escape. At the moment, they don't even seem like they want to escape, winning every single battle themselves. It's not going to get anything. A flawless round coming out from OpTic. Great teamwork throughout. Starting to drag this back a little bit.
So I wonder if your HellRaisers here, do you try to maybe half save or half buy a round to get Oscar and AWP?
Yeah.
Because you know MSL is going to eventually be able to bring it out.
I think they might do that here. I'd like to see them either go for a few pistols or just some MAC-10s and then just run and gun and try and do damage that way, and then make sure that they do have the extra cash going into the future rounds.
Well, looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. The pistol's bought up. And that's pretty much it here. I almost want to see HellRaisers win this round just off the pistols for some reason. Because that pretty much solidifies that victory. Oh, come on.
That's not a bad start.
Angel does get one on the refresh. That means B is going to be light. Good job by Snappy to throw the AK out of the map. Though actually, I wonder if that's going to be rescued if you get on top of those barrels. MSL now forced to rotate over, which leaves A a little bit light. Config's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders now. Does peek out, swings a little bit wide, takes down Angel, looking for the second, takes down Nuki, looking for the third, runs out of ammo, the last bullet does it. And Config saves this round here for OpTic.
Yeah, they're the sort of plays you want to see him making, even if it is up against these eco rounds. Build up that confidence, get this man to the best of his ability, and there's a chance that they can turn this around. Without him, I just don't believe that they'll be able to just destroy the flood of rounds that have come in from HellRaisers.
So Tom, we did have a death on the side of OpTic. MSL could drop over a weapon and pick up an AWP. He knows that HellRaisers was just saving, so he can maybe expect an op on their side too. Do you think that's the route he's going to go here? Pick up the op, try to challenge out against Oscar?
I don't know. We haven't seen the same level of confidence from him so far. Like, it may just be because he doesn't have the AWP, but he's been very passive around that arch side, and a lot of the time in the previous games, he was far more rotational, but he is going to bring it out. So
oh, no op for HellRaisers either.
No, maybe not quite got the loss bonus that they need just yet, because they did win a round and then lose a round, so it kind of reduces it enough. I think maybe the next time that we see them get a proper buy-in, there should be an AWP, and I want to see it come in, because Oscar's been fantastic so far.
I would imagine, as you're talking about MSL, like playing more passive towards Arch, whether it's due to not having an AWP, I think it also could be due to the fact of the scoreline. Realizing if you make that one mistake, if you get a little bit too aggressive and you die, you could cost your team the map. And that's not what you want to have happen when this is the final game for you. Good damage onto Angel with the nade coming through, down to 40 HP. Utility running a little bit low, though, for OpTic. Only 2 smokes. Nisa just going to open things up on a Nico. MSL going to go for the peek and misses the shot. Unfortunately, Oscar is going to drop him. And that's left to Config to hold on. Refresh trying to rotate back around to help out. But look at HellRaisers. They're like, all right, well, now we have a setup here to go for a 3-2 push yet again back towards B. And Oscar's going to be the one pushed up. He's got a player towards his right. It's going to be Refresh, and Refresh needs this kill, and he's going to get it. So now I think he knows, all right, that's going to be the B hit. Snappy throws the smoke back down to buy some time. But there's still a lot of time left here for HellRaisers.
I think the knowledge of there being a player Arch and one on B, you'd almost want to try and gamble back, but I suppose it's just that really Refresh is playing that rotational role. So there might be just that opener onto Snappy. They've got to clear him out quick. Molotov not going to clear him out too quickly, but there he has to move into the open. Sprays down one. He's been great on this side so far. Gets a second as well and hits the dink onto the third. And now Refresh is going to be able to clear them up through the smoke. It's left onto Issa. He has to go for the plant here, and you can see the remaining players just looking to try and run in and close him down. Config will do just that. And OpTic, they hold on for another round, 14-8. And this is starting to get a little bit close.
That was a 5-on-3, wasn't it? Because MSL died and Nico died. Issa got the initial entry on the Nico from short. MSL missed the shot to Oscar. Somehow. Like, Snappy's done this a couple of rounds now with the AUG in the back of B, able to pick up a couple of kills and get a lot of damage done. And HellRaisers maybe looking a little bit worried.
Yeah, I think Snappy at the moment, at least what we've seen from OpTic playing over the last couple of days, he has just been the man that if you give him a job to do, like holding down a site or stopping rotations or spotting information, he's going to do it. He's going to do it well. Like, he may not be the man to, like, necessarily on the T side take over a game and get you every single kill that you need and do the things that Config can do when he's at his best. But if you put him in a position, he is going to get a couple of kills. And he knows the angles probably better than anyone else. So he really has been fantastic. And it's exactly what they've needed so far. MSL is going to retrieve that AWP. Still yet to see one on the other side, but I can actually understand it. Like, Oscar's been rifling fairly well. Ooh. Don't want to give him a free one, though.
Remember, Tom, we've talked about all the close matches we've had, even with like the 10-2s and the 11-4 halves. Well, this is starting to come down to being very close. 6 rounds separates the two teams, and OpTic seem to have woken up at the perfect moment here today.
I think even though there's a 6-round difference still, this is still going to be the moment where HellRaisers go, okay, let's just get this done. How does he get Angel there? It is an instant trade on his own life, but you feel like knowing he's there, knowing he's going to have to push out and still not managing to get the kill, it's got to be frustrating.
Well, but Snappy has no utility to hold onto the B side anymore. He's got a flashbang, no smokes, no Molotovs to hold him off like we saw in previous rounds. But HellRaisers just poising for a push on towards A. You do have a player in pit. It's going to be Nico. You got Snappy there as well. Sorry, not Snappy. It's Config. That was a rocket nade there.
That was spot on, and Nico's exactly the same. All 3 kills from the pit, locking down this A site. Makes the difference down to 5, and I think we need to see one of those rounds where HellRaisers, they take a pause, they take a moment, maybe go for some pistols, MAC-10s, SMGs at best, and, okay, or maybe get 1 or 2 players on a rifle if you want, but get Oscar safe. Try and get him to open up a pick. It's more of a sort of cheesy round that is not something you really want to be doing all the time where you're relying on him, but if he's playing well and everything else you're doing is not working, you might as well just try and get that AWP in play.
So getting some more confidence. Maybe Oscar, all he needed was the deagle.
He might have just got a free one. I think that nade might have blasted it back away from him, though.
It should have, yeah.
If that was an intentional move by Config, then that is fantastic. Even still, though, he's going to go down. The AWP will be retrieved and into the hands of Oscar as well. Push going to be coming in. Lots of damage being done to these players. Nico knows he just has to try and survive, and they just triple nade him out. That's horrible. Nothing Nico could do, and that's going to be another... This is the cheese round. I didn't expect it to come with the pistols, but now Refresh, he's got a full belt of utility. He's got 4 players to find. Does he even think about going for this? Now, the team probably would still have a bye in the next round no matter what. But it doesn't look like he's up to the task today, and it's just going to be falling out. I love that. That triple nade into the graveyard is one of my favorite things I've seen in a long time.
Kill secured.
Yeah.
I think is the way we have to call that one. Yeah, and now Oscar finally has an op, and he didn't even have to buy it. He just picked up off MSL's body once he did finish him off, and once they were able to make the push in towards the actual A site. So well done by HellRaisers. They do it with pistols where they've struggled with guns in the past, and now they put themselves on map point. I wonder if MSL, so with saving that AUG, if they're going to try to get MSL back on an AWP again.
He can afford one himself either way, and yeah, Refresh can drop one. It's whether or not he wants it, and I think he was actually having more success before. Because I think it's very easy a lot of the time when you start a game well, you get the AWP, especially if you start on the CT side, and you start racking up a few kills. Because I think the AWP is easily the most confidence-based weapon in the game. That is just fantastic. Also the view as well.
I think the kit just got launched to the moon there. I think Elon Musk is going to be happy to, or he's going to find a defuse kit on the moon randomly. Let's start setting up the space station.
It'll be on his car, flying along.
Yeah. Well, 9-15. I wonder, I mean, if we compare MSL with the AWP so far in this half versus the M4 he's been using or the AUG, I would agree with you. The M4 and the AUG was doing much better.
I don't think he's had a kill, has he?
Well, he's tried peeking mid twice. One time he got taken low by Oscar. The second time he got killed by Oscar. So he's got to have to, I guess, maybe realize, do I continue to go for the peak here, or do I just give up that position and hold for maybe short, which he had a lot of success in their matches prior here. Either way now, 15-9 is the scoreline. HellRaisers looking to close out this first map. That nade, fortunately, not doing really any damage. And a deep Molotov thrown as well, so maybe they're trying to poise for control here towards Banana.
Molotov doing a little bit of damage, but more so just used to hold back any aggression from the CT side, at least initially. Config just going to fade into the smoke, not taking any risky plays. And MSL has been forced off the angle. There's a player there, and actually wins the duel this time versus Oscar. Good start to the round. Still a lot more left to do. Utility damage onto Issa will help them out significantly as well. And unfortunately, for anybody at home wanting to see some Oscar T-side AWPing, the first time he has it, he's dead.
So switching things up, heading back towards Arch, looking for a peek yet again. Got his peek from short. I was kind of expecting him to go that route, but he left himself open a boiler again. And just got lucky on the timing there that no one was peeking from that position.
I think that's the risk, and I think that's the risk that he's needing to take at the moment, because in the previous round they lost quite a bit of control from the fast push around that sector, and just wanted to make sure that they're held back at least a little bit. Full rotation coming in. They've got the read. They're just going to leave Nico alone, but Snappy again. Been so good at just finding picks when he's on to this B site. Has Refresh boosted up as well. Config will fall, but Refresh finally steps up to the plate. Hits double digits, 3 kills in the round as well. They are still slowly grinding this back. It is still map point. But do bear in mind, it was a 13-2 half, so it has started to come back quite a bit for OpTic.
Does Snappy miss shots with the AUG? When he's like aiming down sight, he just doesn't seem to miss when they walk in towards B. Don't worry, it wasn't an actual question. It was like rhetorical.
I know.
Well, Oscar's going to be back on the op. Hope he can avenge himself in the last round. MSL switch things yet again. Get some decent damage to Angel. I think he got the tag onto him. I didn't think it was a nade, and then there's the other nade to follow up. Looks like MSL did get the tag. And now HellRaisers is playing with a man down yet again here.
Yeah, they do at least have the information that MSL can't be over onto the short side, and Issa's going to try and capitalize off of that. Quick push round. Lau gets the opener onto Nico. He's been the man really holding down the fort in the pit, but MSL now makes his presence known. Config backs up as well to make sure that he can't be hit from the player dropping down, and this crossfire is filthy. All the remaining 4 kills going the way of the players in that crossfire. And that will mean another round on the board. The difference down to just 4.
So it wouldn't be a day of Pro League if we didn't have overtime, Tom. It's happened every day so far.
I think the only game we've casted that's been like less than some like 12 rounds was that one where Fnatic lost on Dust 2.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it's been like 16-12 or above almost every time. Like, I might check afterwards just to see, but it always seems to go to the higher rounds. And MSL. Peeking mid has just been a curse for him. It hasn't worked out at all. Nico's going for a bit of a re-peek, even going to retrieve the AWP. Yes, has been the main man finding openers for them over the last couple of rounds. It was actually just moving it back, maybe knowing that the economy might be a little bit low and just making sure that it can't be handed over. It's currently juggling it back. And they are right. I'm sure that Nuki would love to upgrade his UMP to an AWP. The better of the Ps.
Big commitment here out of OpTic. Sending Snappy back from B, allowing Refresh to hold alone over towards Banana, but he does not have a smoke. And he might be overrun here, but he does hear the steps, backs away again, playing very smart. Something Refresh does quite well. HellRaisers just trying to gather that information. They have the man advantage. They have 45 seconds left. They're on map point. And it looks like the hit will come towards A. But unfortunately for them, that's going to be the site that's stacked. And if Snappy can hit these shots... See, he wasn't aiming down sight. That's the problem. Anyways, Angel's going to run around the corner, take him down, look for Confi, who's going to actually be flashed in, gets the spread onto 1 and 2. Coming up big when they needed it. Equalizing things now at 3 apiece. The rotate coming from Refresh, and Config gets a third to the board. Maloa's able to respawn, able to chime back in, drops down to pit. You can see Oscar to the side trying to come around the corner. And the flank is actually coming in out of Refresh to come in, push from middle. And Config gets the fourth. Now it's down to a one-on-one. The bomb is going to be planted here for Lowell. Is he going to Refresh? Has been able to flank from behind. He's not even looking this direction. Refresh has to hit this shot to save the map here for OpTic.
Oh, he's giving it away. The jump just lets him know that he has to be close around this corner. Does manage to move, but you can see Refresh is just homed in on the angle, waiting for the push, waiting for the peek up. Lau doesn't actually spot him out. They've sort of almost bamboozled each other. Refresh comes around and Lau hits the tap. That's how they're going to finish it. It was a nice attempted comeback from the guys at OpTic, but it's Lau to close out the game. Config gets 4 kills in that final round as well. He finally steps up, but the rest of the team can't match.